Care Fund was introduced in 1948. It continues today with pretty much the same ethos, is that we're here to help. We're here to help in any way, whether you're young or old. The most rewarding aspect of running a care fund is seeing the faces of our clients, actually, when we sort of provide them with either a simple cup of coffee, or if we're actually helping somebody out that's been rehoused.
The office is the hub of holding everything together. It is the starting point for most people's contact with the Trust. We have a team of 8 volunteers who are on a rota for manning the office from 10 to 12 each morning, and we take calls from various people. We have visitors into the office, we answer the emails that come in.
Oh, the calls in the office, they're quite varied really, but basically they're all from people who need help, different sorts of help. Elderly people, young families, and sometimes they've been moved to Harpenden, into council accommodation, with nothing there, no furniture, not much in the way of white goods. And we put all of these requests through to the home visitors who help them out.
I get a great sense of satisfaction if I take down a message and I pass it on to the home visitors, and then I find out that they've made a real difference in these people's lives, and it feels good.
I'm one of the home visits team. There are only a few of us, but we cover different areas of Harpenden, so that way we get to know our clients and the particular issues that they face. We have a huge variety of clients. Some obviously are elderly and vulnerable, but many are very young. I think the youngest client that I've actually been able to help was 19, who was living independently for the first time, and the oldest client up into the 90s. And of course combinations, because often it's a whole family issue that we're trying to support. The thing about people is that we're all complicated, and many people have a mixture of issues, some medical, sometimes to do with finance, sometimes to do with family, and they tend to all come together. So very often we're trying to help them untangle what can be a very difficult mess. We have to accept that there's only so much we can do, but often a little bit of practical support can do an awful lot of good. We're very lucky with the Trust that we've built up a good working relationship with a number of other local and sometimes national bodies. We rely on their support, we rely upon their expertise. Sometimes we keep on in relationship with the client, working with them. Sometimes we make appointments for them. Sometimes we signpost them towards what would be appropriate for them to have support in a particular area.
Why I enjoy this role is that people find themselves in difficult circumstances, often through no fault of their own, and it could happen to any of us. We support people who have suddenly become ill and then have to lose their jobs. So I just like the fact that the Harpenden Trust is able to support these people as and when they need it, without asking too many questions, just to let people know that we are there for them.
I started the coffee mornings in late 1987. It's lovely to see so many people, they come to meet their friends, have a chat, and it's very rewarding. A lot of them are people living on their own who look forward to coming and meeting up with their friends. It's a very happy group.
I was invited to become part of the senior outings team last year. It's a really lovely way of engaging with the residents of Harpenden and offering those that perhaps would find it difficult to either get out to socialise or to take trips out, to come together. It really is such a lovely thing to do. So if it kind of feels like a school trip, but for grown-ups. So when I was at school, I used to really look forward to the school outings. So in this role, I get to do that, but actually that's my job to do that.
We're able to offer grants to pensioners who are on a fairly low pension and just need a little bit of extra help. To younger people, we're just going into school, starting to have essential school trips, and again the parents are a little bit stretched for finance. We're able to give a grant towards school uniforms should the parents be under financial pressure.
We've worked with the Harpenden Trust for many years now, and we've been very pleased to support them with the voucher system which they operate, and where there may be hardship in the families.
And in the last 5 years, my favourite job is running the Christmas parcels. Every year, we put together roughly 150 parcels for the elderly of Harpenden. We work closely with the Community Matters team at Waitrose. We go and deliver each parcel personally to let them know that someone is thinking of them at Christmas.
I started off taking calls and I then, after a few weeks, I progressed to fielding any of the more awkward queries and liaising with all our partners in people who were in charge of the shopping, in charge of the food bank and distribution of food parcels, and the contacts we had who were helping us with collecting prescriptions. The call centre built up really quickly. It was a number that was plastered about the town centre, and we had, in the second week, we took 170 calls. So we were a very busy call centre, and over the 9 or 10 months that the call centre was actively up and running, I think we took over 2,000 calls.
I like volunteering for the Harpenden Trust because it's a local charity, and it's been, even before I volunteered, I was aware of it, and it's just nice to be involved with something you can see the benefits locally quite quickly, and that's certainly been the case with the reaction to the pandemic. It's given me a sense of achievement and a sense of purpose.
I don't think I appreciated just how much need there was in the local community at all levels. Financial hardship particularly, and the fact that so many people were shielding and they needed help to carry out very basic day-to-day needs.
I just wanted to help the community that I live in. Kindness, it's just thinking about somebody else, putting somebody else before yourself, recognising that other people have needs, you know, that some people are very vulnerable, the elderly, you know, reaching out to people who have nobody else at times, really. I used to speak to people on the phone at the call centre who sometimes they'd never spoken to anybody else for the whole week, and that you were the person that they had contact with during the pandemic. That was very touching.
There's a lovely atmosphere. There's a can-do, will-do, we can achieve. And incredible, really, what they have done, particularly with rolling out the vaccine centre. It really is amazing, amazing, yeah. And just to be surrounded by people who want to put other people first.
Certainly unique locally. I mean, if you look at how it's taken on things to help the community, like the vaccine centre, like Harpenden Cares, it's totally unique.
Even though it is, you know, a wealthy town, I hadn't realised how there are some needy people and children who, you know, may not even have school shoes. You know, some of the calls we've received into the call centre really surprised me and touched me. So I just felt I was, during COVID, I just felt I was doing something to help others.
I love befriending because I'm a chatterbox, and I couldn't imagine anything more difficult than being isolated. This has given me an opportunity to go out and do stuff, meet people, meet Margaret, my befriendee, and she's a chatterbox too, so we have a great time and very much enjoy each other's company. The unique and special thing about volunteering for Harpenden Trust is it's our local community. The Harpenden Trust really values its volunteers, very much supports the volunteers. We've got background checking in with each other to see how things are going. The communications are fantastic.
We look after 70 befrienders and about 70 befriendees in the trust. I think that loneliness is a huge problem around the within Harpenden and within the UK. There's an awful lot of people who live on their own. People live such busy lives, so often families are great, but they're also very busy, and I think it is extremely difficult if you find yourself living on your own, and especially if mobility is an issue. I love befriending because I get to meet different people. I get to hear about people's quite colourful lives. I do think that we are building genuine connections, we are creating friendships, and I think that is so important.
I have 3 befriendees, a range of people. It's mostly about giving them some companionship. The Harpenden Trust does seem to have quite a place in the heart of Harpenden, really. I know lots and lots of folks who get involved. It is something you hear talked about in the town, so I think it is really appreciated.
I find an hour or 2 at the weekend, either a Saturday or a Sunday, pop down and see him. We sit and talk, and I do that, most weekends.
After I had my last child, who's now 2, I thought I had some spare time on my hands, which is a bit crazy, but I got in touch with the Harpenden Trust because I've seen an advert, and I actually help out with the befriending service. So for the last year, I've helped out a local lady who just wanted a bit of extra company every week.
We've now got a very regular routine, actually. We meet weekly. We spend a couple of hours at the George pub, not having alcohol. I hasten to add, he enjoys it, I enjoy it.
We have general chit-chat. We play a few games. A lot of the time, I'm having to put up with him. But that's what makes him adorable. We both have a really big passion about music.
I've learnt far more about Lou Reed and the Velvet Underground than I could ever have wished to think was there. He, for his part, has learned far more about Sheffield Wednesday than he would care to know.
Also, Richard has a very big interest in football, which just goes over my head.
But it's really enjoyable, and we have a great time.
The most important thing is that we have become good friends.
I want to say a huge thank you and congratulations to everybody working on the Harpenden vaccination rollout. Not only has it been a great success here in Harpenden, it has been recognised nationally as one of the best in the country. I managed to get some time to volunteer at the vaccination centre during the period over the last few months. It's been brilliant because I've got to meet the fantastic volunteers from the Harpenden Trust, also seeing how well organised it was. It wasn't just the effort, it was the quality of the organisation, working with the medical staff and others, and seeing the appreciation that the people of Harpenden gave the Harpenden Trust and indeed the medics as well.
And just before Christmas, we wanted to become a local vaccination service and realised that we would need the support of Harpenden Trust deliver us an army of volunteers. Without the Harpenden Trust supporting us, we would not be able to be delivering the vaccination service that we currently do.
I mean, I think in other areas, practices have collaborated with volunteers, but I don't believe there's anywhere else that's had 700 odd volunteers who have come forward. They have been absolutely incredible.
One of the reasons that this centre has been so successful has been the way that it has created that really warm environment.
A lot of friendships have been built amongst the team, particularly between the GP surgeries and the volunteers of Harpenden. This is such a great community to be part of.
From my experience, seeing those volunteers coming in January and seeing in their eyes how they felt about coming into this centre at that time, they reflected how I felt, which was I was desperate to get out of the house, to do something and to be part of something positive. And this was the most positive thing happening at that time in the country.
I feel really proud to work in this kind of environment. I feel proud of what we've built here. I feel proud of the relationships that we've made, and really proud of the volunteers who they step up. Every time they walk into this room, they step up and they are welcoming, they are warm, and they're wonderful.
It's been an amazing journey and I've loved every minute, but so much more so with working with the people that we have on this journey has been amazing. The Harpenden volunteers are a team that have excelled beyond anything we could have imagined. I cannot thank them. I cannot praise them enough. Words fail me when they come to the generosity, the time, the fun, the smiles we've had. It's been just a wonderful experience.
In the early days of volunteering at the vaccination centre, I can remember my first shift at the centre behind me in early January. And it was a bleak time. It was a bleak time of year. The weather was miserable, and I think everybody felt miserable. And I came along to do my first session at the vaccination centre. Not quite sure how I'd feel. And it was an extraordinary experience. I can remember vividly watching an elderly gentleman, and may have been his partner or his carer, going into the halls looking very apprehensive, and then 20 or 30 minutes I just happened to notice them come out, and the elderly chap, he looked fine, and there was a glint in the eye of his partner or carer that was a joy to behold. It was like a ray of sunshine on a really bleak day at a really bleak time. I went home with a real spring in my step because I thought in my tiny little way I'd seen something happen today, which was the start of the country's sort of fight back against this hideous virus.
The work the volunteers do is very, very important because a lot of people have come to the centre anxious, a little bit unsure about things, and so as well as helping to show them around, we get to talk to them, to reassure them, to be able to get the vaccination in a safe and secure environment like we're trying to provide. One thing that's really hit me is the sense of belonging in the community and everyone pulling together.
Challenge, I think, is just keeping your eye on everything at the same time, keeping your patience and your humour, and making people feel comfortable.
From a personal perspective, I think the most rewarding aspect is listening to some of the stories for the people that have been coming through the vaccination centre. Some of the personal journeys that they've actually been prepared to share with us have been so moving, and the thanks and the gratitude that we have had has literally made it all worthwhile.
The people have been so grateful. You know, there's people that bring cakes, treats. They're so grateful for people volunteering their time to help them.
The Harpenden Trust and volunteering with them has been very much a family and community experience. It's been a wonderful introduction to what Harpenden life can really be about.
It's been a fantastic experience. I've really enjoyed it, get to know lots of people in the local community, and I also know lots of people who come in for their jabs as well. So that's been great to catch up with people that I haven't seen for a long time as well. So yeah, it's been a fantastic experience, and I know that it's worked really well, and everybody's been very appreciative. The people that come in for their jabs have been very appreciative of the work that the Harpenden Trust has done and the way that the vaccination rollout has been so successful and really, really efficient.
It's been incredibly well coordinated. There's a huge number of people who volunteered, which is tremendous. Everybody comments on how smoothly the programme has been running.
I thought as a little thank you back, anyone volunteering could come in and have a coffee or a tea on us, just as a little thank you and a gesture for all the hard work those guys have been doing and keeping Harpenden moving. Hearing more about the Harpenden Trust since I've taken over this business in the last 2 years, the amount of volunteering they do and helping and getting around people's homes, as well as coming out into the community, as doing the vaccinations, from organising the car parking to getting the jabs in arms, has been just inspirational.
I really look forward to working with the Harpenden Trust again, and we all do. All the surgeries hope that this will be a collaboration that we go forward with.
My experience of working volunteers has been absolutely incredible. They have given so much. They are delightful people to work with. You know, everything we ask of them, they do that, and they do even more than that. And you know, they're part of our family now. We really feel the Harpenden community, you know, it's all come together, and we're one big family, really. It's been brilliant.
I am enthused for the future of collaborative working.
We've already got plans in progress for a collaborative project with Harpenden Trust, Mind and the 3 GP practices that make up the Harpenden PCN. And that's really looking at trying to get in early with people that have mental health issues.
We started looking at wellbeing partly as a response to the pandemic and partly as a wider look at how we can best support our local community. Wellbeing can sound a bit of a woolly term. What we mean by it is, can we help people who perhaps are on a journey to poorer mental health at a stage before they need more significant intervention from their GPs? And there are lots of amazing resources out there, but not everybody is able to access them. If your mood is low and you're not feeling great, you might know that you would benefit from joining a group, but unless you've got someone who can go with you and help you get involved, it can seem like an impossible thing to do. So the idea with the Wellbeing Hub is to just help with that framework, to help get you involved. And we're also looking at where there might be gaps. We're working with Mind to maybe set up some peer-to-peer support groups. They might be on a range of activities. We're looking at basically gold standard of things that exist elsewhere in the country that we might be able to bring to Harpenden. One of the initiatives we're looking at is starting up a Frazzle Cafe locally, which is a place to go, well, it does what it says on the tin really. It's a place to go when you're feeling frazzled, somewhere you can talk about how you're feeling and share your feelings with other people who are in the same headspace, if you like. A non-judgmental place to share experiences and talk to other people. We're also looking at an initiative called Storm Break, which works in primary schools, helping children through mindful movement to deal with some of the stresses of everyday life, how to manage anger, how to manage change, how to work on friendships. If I'm being honest, like a lot of people, I volunteer because it makes me feel good. But the thing I really love about the Harpenden Trust is it's right in the heart of the town that I've lived in for years.
The Community Fund of the Harpenden Trust has been going since 2008. It received an endowment from the Abbeyfield Trust and it supports a whole range of community organisations, schools, children's sports teams, choirs, charities, cooking project, and we've actually helped over 100 different organisations.
3 years ago, I set up a charity to look at how we could replace all of the equipment in the play park behind me. And we wanted to involve the community and help them with, get them involved in the fundraising. So to do that, we not only went out to lots of locals, but we also went to Harpenden Trust and asked them if they would get involved. And I was thrilled that they did, absolutely delighted. And they gave a really significant amount, recognising the impact it would have not just now, but hopefully for many, many years to come on the children of Harpenden. So I just feel proud to have got to a point where we've got a whole new play park that, you know, even in the 3 days it's been here and launched, I've seen literally hundreds and hundreds of children playing and smiling and laughing, and I mean, that's just priceless.
When we look at projects, we want to see that there is real added value. It is really nice from a selfish point of view to see that you're contributing something that improves others' lives.
The Harpenden Trust have got a long-standing relationship with the school and in supporting the school, supporting families who attend the school. And in my time here as head, we've tried to develop that relationship. It's been hugely beneficial for us. It's added a huge amount to our children's education. It's added a huge amount of opportunities for our children and our staff, and it's had a fantastic impact for our children's learning. The Trust were able to support us with developing classroom spaces, and we've also had the opportunity and support to develop our outdoor spaces and our amazing early years playground, which we would never have had in place had it not been for the Trust support. It's just been phenomenal for the children.
We have a very close relationship with Harpenden Trust. We've been working with them for a number of years now. They have helped us with funding for our school library. That was one of the biggest projects we've done in the last number of years. They've also helped pay for a climbing set, a trim trail for the infant children, and latterly they've helped raise money for the canopies that we're standing under today.
We were contacted by Martin at the Hedgehog Sanctuary asking for an education centre. We all thought it was a great idea, really valuable. My children absolutely loved it here when they visited, so we were just thrilled to be able to help. I work with the Community Fund on lots of amazing local projects. I've worked with so many different people, so many organisations. I've visited people that have needed help, have received our help and been really grateful. But also the team of people I work with genuinely care.
So initially there was only a few hedgehogs that we rescued, and now we're going up to about 250 a year. So we've expanded quite rapidly. We are encouraging the younger generations to get involved directly with helping the hedgehogs and ways they can do that in their gardens.
Plot 31 started a couple of years ago, and they approached us for some money, and it's just absolutely taken off. It looks absolutely fantastic, and the involvement of other people is really heartwarming to see how successful this project has been.
Plot 31 is a gardening club aimed at the residents of Harpenden, locals of Harpenden, to give them the opportunity to come and garden, to grow all sorts of things, herbs, vegetables, flowers, and just really give everyone the opportunity to meet up here once a week and enjoy the pleasure of being outside and gardening.
The Harpenden Trust have been great really and have supported us from the beginning. We knew from the start that we needed a big table to work at, to sow seeds and to gather around. And they've helped us with the money for that. And also when we couldn't find anyone to make it, they came up with a volunteer. So it was wonderful. We've also had a gazebo that a few weeks ago was just amazing because it's so hot up here in the full sun. And it means also that if we have an open day, we've got a bit of shelter.
I'm one of the lucky ones. I've always loved gardening. I grew vegetables with my mum, and I just find it sort of resets everything, gives me a clear head again. And then actually to be able to share this now with our own volunteers who I've got to know quite well over the last few years is just wonderful. So I get masses out of it.
I love it. It is so nice for people like Louise to come with an application and receiving encouragement and obviously financial help, and to see things grow as they have.
Harpenden Trust is for everyone. It doesn't really matter what age you are and what your situation is. There's something there for everyone, and that's how I see the power of the two halls here. It's a community asset. It's not very expensive to hire, and it's very accessible for everyone.
I'm Tash Spink, also known as Professor Tash, and I run Mini Professor's science classes for preschool aged children in Harpenden. The Harpenden Trust Centre is the perfect venue for these classes. The Renwick and the facilities here are wonderful. There's everything that we need, and the staff and the volunteers are all extremely helpful, so I'm very happy.
What I've learnt from doing the newsletter is just how much goes on in this community and how much we really are doing things across the broad spectrum of the community. All ages, all different people, everybody is being supported by the Harpenden Trust. It's involving everybody and it's for everybody.
It's a very committed group of people, and it's a group of people that are very much committed to doing so much for the local community.
And I run the social media for the Harpenden Trust. I decided to start volunteering for the Harpenden Trust when I saw an advert in the school newsletter. I thought it was a good way to get involved with the local community and to help others and encourage my children to do the same.
I think
All the volunteers have to be congratulated for all the work they do. Peel collectors work exceedingly hard to raise the money that they do, going out in all sorts of conditions in December and January.
I've collected for the appeal for 2 or 3 years, and now I'm one of the area organisers for the Christmas appeal. It's for Harpenden and it's local, and that is meaningful for me, and I think also that's what is meaningful for a lot of the people that we speak to on the doorsteps, actually. And acknowledging that although we live in an affluent area here in Harpenden, there are still many people who struggle for all sorts of reasons. I particularly enjoy being part of the Christmas appeal because it's a big team effort with lots of people from all around the Harpenden community, and it's for Harpenden, for Harpenden people.
What I really love about the Harpenden Trust is the fact that it's such a local charity. So it does, on one side, it gets people together. We've got the coffee mornings that they organise. On the other side, it supports families and just people within the community. It really is a local charity for local people.
A lot of people respond very positively when you talk about the Harpenden Trust because it does so many good things in the area of Harpenden.
I think the future of volunteering in Harpenden has probably never looked better, to be honest. So many people have got involved, so many people have seen what can be done, just what can be achieved with a bit of commitment and the help of willing volunteers, that I think it'll go from strength to strength.
I think Harpenden Trust is quite special because of the range of people it engages with and the range of people who volunteer with it. And I think that gives it a real breadth and gives it the opportunity to reach into lots of parts of the Harpenden community.
What's special about the Harpenden Trust is the fact that it is local. It deals with things which happen on our doorstep rather than committing itself more widely. That means that I'm doing something for my local community, my friends, my neighbours, and that makes it special to me.
I think the Trust is really unique. Anyone I talk to that doesn't live in Harpenden, they've never heard of such a thing. I think it's great. Great asset to Harpenden for sure.
The people are so committed, the volunteers and everybody that works within the Trust. It has a lot of respect in the community and around, Hertfordshire in general.
It's quite fun to do this sort of thing and I just love it.
We have a lot of fun, I think it's the best way of putting it.